My reign as a Jeopardy champion lasted almost 35 minutes.
This was coming, like the waiting room of the vasectomist, and I know that's not what he's called. I know there's like a fancy word, but...
If you leave, I have nothing left to live for.
Look, over there. There's a Muslim. Let's go get him. I turned around and saw 5 or 6 of them, 16 to 18-year-olds, running towards me. Home was still a couple of blocks away, so my instinct was to run, but they would have outrun me. So I just stood there, looking straight at them, ready to face the music. They were wearing leather jackets and chains, and within seconds, they had cornered me. I had no idea what they were going to do with me, and I was scared. Yo, what do you think about what happened in New York? Shouted one of them. Well, what happened in New York was terrible. Thousands died a horrific death. What do you mean what I think? I said with a little indignation. I still had no idea what they were up to. Look, I just got to Chapel Hill 3 weeks ago from New York. All of my friends are still there, and I've yet to account for every one of them. I don't know if all of them made it. At this point, their ringleader closed in and grabbed my arm, said, "Dude, are you okay?" "That sucks, man. Are you all right?" "Look, we're just coming from a party and we're kind of drunk and hungry. You think you have $1 or $2 so I can maybe go get a hot dog?" I tried real hard to suppress my laughter as I took my wallet out and gave him $1. And I got home safe. I had just spent 7 years near Harlem, and this was the first time I was able to walk home laughing after having had to pull my wallet out and give somebody money. Now, in the weeks and months after 9/11, the harassment and intimidation became increasingly regular, and not every incident had a comical ending. One evening, I was enjoying a slice and soda at I Love New York Pizza, and I saw a couple of guys on another table just staring at me the whole time and whispering to each other, hatching a conspiracy. As I got up to leave, they sprang to their feet, ran to the doorway, and blocked my exit. One of them shouted, "Look, Osama is here, you fucking terrorist! Go back to your country." I decided it was safest to stay in the restaurant, so I refilled my soda and sat down and waited them out. Eventually they left, and I did too. I walked briskly to my car, opened the door, sat inside, turned the engine on, looked to the rear before backing out, and saw one of them was sitting on the trunk of my car. The other came around the driver's side window, pulled something out of his jacket. I heard a click. He was flashing a 6-inch switchblade knife at me. I made sure all the doors were locked. I had no cell phone, so all I could do was sit there, and we stared at each other what perhaps a full minute, but seemed like a lifetime. Eventually they let me go, and I got home. The thing is, I'm not a Muslim. I'm actually a Sikh. And Sikhism was founded 500 years ago as a reformist offshoot of Hinduism in India by our founder, who shunned the caste system and all the inequalities that had gotten entrenched in Hindu society. It was to be totally egalitarian with absolute gender equality. So Sikh men and women often have the same given names, and there's no family name or caste name. There's a big emphasis on living simple and honest living and community service and taking care of the poor and the disadvantaged and the oppressed. Now, I'm not super religious, but the tenets of Sikhism happen to agree with my own progressive principles. However, I do embrace fully the religious and cultural identity. Our spiritual leaders gave us a code of conduct and appearance that included, among other things, never cutting our hair. And the turban is a symbol of honor and pride in our identity. we must always keep our head high and stand out, so those who need our help or protection know where we are. A Sikh is always visible and stands out. And we are everywhere. If you ever go to India, you will find a colorful sea of turbans at the New Delhi airport ready to welcome you. If an Indian travels abroad, they will try to find a Sikh to ask for directions because they know a Sikh is unmistakably Indian. The first Indian on Mount Everest, Sikh. One of the first Indians to reach Antarctica, Sikh. I've heard somewhere that the first naturalized immigrant to Greenland was a Sikh. And a rumor has it that when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin reached the moon and planted the American flag, they saw smoke coming out in the distance. And they walked over. It was a Sikh roasting tandoori chicken on a campfire with a big can of Cobra beer on the side. We are everywhere. And a Sikh can't hide. No hide the Sikh. Now, I also can't escape from my Muslim misidentity in a post 9/11 Chapel Hill. Everywhere I go, I'm taunted and jeered and harassed and intimidated. Each time there's a part of me that just wants to say, hey, I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Sikh. Leave me alone. But that wouldn't be right. I would be saying, in essence, hey, it's okay to attack somebody else who is a Muslim. But then, wouldn't I be doing a service to everybody by telling them I'm a Sikh and teaching them a little bit about Sikhism? Yes, but not at the cost of implying that they should go find a real Muslim to target. So I always had this struggle inside of me. Telling the truth versus doing the right thing. Now, my misidentity also brought benefits. There were good people who wanted to do kind things to me because they thought I was a Muslim. One evening, I had just finished my beer and shrimp dinner at Lucy's. When I asked for the check, the bartender told me, well, those two guys over there, they took care of it. I looked around and I waved them a thank you. One of them came over to me and said, now, you know, we are about to start a war in Afghanistan, and I thought I'll let you know that a person like you should feel welcome in Chapel Hill. I had gotten so used to not telling people that I'm not a Muslim that I accepted quietly, but with gratitude, this free gift. It was a gesture that was misdirected, but certainly well meant. And things like that happen many times. Should I be telling these people I don't deserve this free gift of food and drink? Or perhaps I did deserve it after all the crap I've been through. Besides, who am I to tell this nice man and ruin his good deed of the day? I also don't want him in the future not to be nice to a real Muslim he might meet and wonder, Muslim or Sikh, do I buy him a beer or not? I'll forget it. So for the sake of all three of us, I accept things quietly. For me, the well-deserving victim. For the hypothetical Muslim who's going to be a future beneficiary of this man's kindness. And for the good of this man's white guilt that's buying me alcohol and bacon-wrapped shrimp because he thinks I'm a Muslim. But every year, I get one chance to escape from my Sikh and Muslim identities. Halloween. Everybody dresses up, I dress down, I take my turban off. But I have to be a character with a beard and some hair who's not Sikh or Muslim because I don't want to be taunted and jeered tonight. I'm just here for a good time. One night. So I try a 70s pimp. My hair in an afro, bell bottoms. I try Gandalf with beard extensions painted white. A few people get it, but mostly everybody calls me Bin Laden, the terrorist. I try Fidel Castro with camouflage and cigar. Except for a couple of savvy Latinos, everybody else thinks I'm Saddam Hussein. So one year I went as Cat Stevens. I ruffled my hair, donned a hippie shirt and a peace medal, and nobody got it. Nobody got it, except one person. But only after I had danced around her, pretending to be running away from a moon shadow. I ended up marrying her. Then one year I decided to double down on the way I looked and go as Aladdin. I tied not one, not two or three, but 4 turbans, one on top of the other. So here I was with a huge head and a shimmery vest and all the jewels on Franklin Street, and that year I was a hit. Everybody wanted to come and rub my lamp. You see, it turns out Aladdin is not from Arabia. He is from Disney. Now, over the years, as 9/11 and the wars became more distant, I thought things were getting better. But then we were painfully reminded just a few months ago that Islamophobia is here, present in the midst of us, and it's uglier than ever. Look around the world. Hate and intolerance everywhere. People are killing each other in the name of God. Everybody thinks, my God is better than yours. We have people running for the highest office in the land who are getting away with spewing hate and bigotry, even while claiming that they are persons of God. God, so much trouble. But every now and then, things happen that give me hope. This one night, I was playing pool with a bunch of friends at Zog's, and there were people at the table, next table over, who had an issue with our presence. One of them charged us and yelled at me, "You are all terrorists. How dare you play pool in our town after what you did in New York and Iraq and Afghanistan?" Now, oddly, that night I didn't feel too threatened. I had come to regard bars as safe places. They're drunk people for sure, but they're bartenders and bouncers to take care of everything. So I approached him and I realized there's nothing that a 20-something-year-old guy already drunk on a pitcher of Bud Light wouldn't do for another Bud Light. So I made him a deal. Hey, I'll buy you beer if you can guess my religion. I'll give you 5 tries. He looked at me and said, "Muslim, you are a Muslim." No. Shia. No. Islam. No. Jew? No. Mormon. I said, okay, how about I'll buy you a beer. Let's try again. Guess my country and I'll give you 5 tries. Iran. Nope. Iraq. Afghanistan. Nope. Arabia. Arabia? I wasn't even dressed as Aladdin that night. I kid you not, he couldn't name a 5th country. Now, before the end of the night, we had bought each other many pitchers of Bud Light. We had played pool together, and we had patted each other on the back. We were okay. So that night taught me a valuable lesson. A little bit of dialogue, aided by beer, can go such a long way in solving so many of the problems around the world that we have created in the name of God. So God bless America. Assalamu alaikum. And to the 1 billion Hindus and Sikhs who are celebrating Diwali tonight, the Festival of Lights, which celebrates the triumph of good over evil, happy Diwali, y'all.
Montek Singh.